What's up, guys? I'm EJ. I'm joined by Shamari and Kendall for another DC Fandome panel reaction recap. We just watched the Suicide Squad panel, obviously hosted by the director himself, James Gunn. He has a huge cast for this movie, and we got to see hear a little bit of his thoughts on the movie and his process of making the movie. We got to see finally full cast and full character breakdown of who everyone is playing, because that's even been a mystery. We know a few of the characters, like Margot Robbie. We know she's obviously gonna be playing someone like Harley Quinn, but a lot of the other actors, John Cena, even his brother Sean Gunn, and even someone like Idris Elba, we didn't know, and now we have those answers. Obviously, I'm joined by Shamari and Kendall. I'll go to Shamari first here. What did you think of the Suicide Squad panel?
I thought it was a very fun panel. One thing that I didn't expect was for them to be getting along quite so well. I mean,
yeah,
he seemed to get along. James Gunn seemed to get along with the Guardians cast really well, because they very much seem like a family. But the Suicide Squad cast, they seem to really get along very well. And I mean, I don't know, how well they got along with David Ayer, some of the people there, but they seem to really love James Gunn, and he seems to have a lot of fun with the cast on set. So I think that's really nice. It was clearly most of the panel itself was them kind of playing a trivia game, which I thought was pretty fun. But I think the main thing I took from this was all the characters that are going to be in it, and some of the reveals that we got with regards to who the actor is going to be playing. So we now know Idris Elba is playing Bloodsport, which is really pretty interesting. I personally still would have preferred a Bronze Tiger or something like that, but Bloodsport, I mean, that's pretty cool. We know we're getting the Thinker in the movie, played by Peter Capaldi.
Our guy DeVoe.
Yeah, DeVoe. So yeah, I mean, we're getting the Weasel, King Shark. This is going to be a pretty big movie. James Gunn even said himself that this is the biggest movie. He said by far the biggest movie that he's ever worked on. I mean, that's pretty.
He said the guy who's doing the special effects on this movie, who's done the special effects for Marvel movies, said that this is the most effects he's ever done. Which is, I mean, I don't know what to make of that, but that's impressive. I would not have thought that's what we were going to see.
I mean, was it Cena that said we're going to get? He said we're going to get people getting blown up, heads, genitals, all this other things.
I don't think it was Cena, but yeah, someone said that.
Okay, somebody said that. It was Kinnaman,
Yeah, Fillion maybe.
Oh, Fillion. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, this movie is going to be insane. So I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. Yeah, I thought this was a very, very fun panel. And that's what's great about the marketing for this movie as opposed to the last Suicide Squad movie is that, again, the last Suicide Squad movie, it was way too obvious what was going to happen to these characters. I mean, you see this guy, what was the guy named Slipknot? You see Slipknot, and like he's none of the marketing, and they hype him up as a part of the squad. You're like, oh, his head's getting blown off in the first 5 minutes. Like, this movie, I think a lot of those characters won't be in like the last act. I think the last act will probably be like, maybe 6, 7, 8 of them.
Maybe a few of them.
Yeah, it could even be a few of them.
But yeah.
And so some of those actors are probably in just like the first 20 minutes, first 10 minutes, and they're gone. But they're marketing them all as evens.
Yeah.
Do I expect Harley Quinn to get her head blown off? No, of course not. You understand that some of them are going to stick around, but look, Captain Boomerang was in the last one. Is there a chance he's not in this one? Or is there a chance he's not in this one for a long time? A possibility. So I don't know. I think this is going to be very, very interesting. And I expect someone like Rick Flag to stick around, but even him, we don't know. It also doesn't have to be the Amanda Waller taking them out. This could be in the heat of battle.
Yeah.
Them getting
or
taken
them
out.
Taking each other out.
Yeah, or them taking each other out.
Pretty twisted.
So there's a lot of different psychological aspects of the Suicide Squad that are very, very interesting. And it's a very deep cast with a lot of different that bring a lot of different things to the table. And obviously the most interesting thing about this is that they did not pick very many notable DC names. They picked a lot of people no one's ever heard of. So
yeah.
Very, very James Gunn.
It adds to that Guardians feel. It adds to that, blank canvas that James Gunn gets to now kind of create the image of who Peacemaker is to now fans that aren't, to the mainstream. who Polka Dot Man is to the mainstream.
Who Weasel is.
Yeah, who Weasel is, because we don't. It was the same thing he did with Star-Lord. Like Star-Lord,
exactly.
when people think of Star-Lord now, and every future Star-Lord property is going to be based off of James Gunn's version. Like, it's not based off of when Star-Lord was the first iteration of Star-Lord.
Right.
You see now Star-Lord things, and now he's basically Chris Pratt. Like, so that's going to be what we see now for Suicide Squad. So I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think for one, I me hearing them say this is a 1970s war movie kind of mixed with the kind of comedy you'll hear from you expect to see in film like James Gunn. I mean, that's a really cool concept and process. I looked at this and I kind of got Predator vibes. I kind of got like First Blood vibes from them being kind of in the jungle. Kind of, I don't even know what they're doing, which I thought was interesting. We still don't know who's the threat or what the threat is.
Like a little Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said First Blood. Kind of reminds me of Rambo for sure. And I think that fits very well with the Suicide Squad. And I thought Gunn's explanation that to me, he doesn't look at this as an adaptation of the original Ashtrander books. He looks at it as a sequel to those books, which is really interesting considering we always talk about continuity and what you're trying to do and how are you doing this movie when we just had aired Suicide Squad not that long ago and we have some of the same actors and characters. It seems like he's very hell-bent on, once again, kind of not really caring anything about that. That's one of the big things I saw from this panel, was that clearly they let Gunn do exactly what he wanted. Because I didn't get any of the obvious bubblegum kind of promotion aspect to this movie, and little I saw from this movie that I got from the last one. The last one was so commercialized in a way that
it was all flash, no substance.
Right, all sizzle, no steak. You know what I'm saying? And to me, this is like the opposite. Like, there isn't a lot of big name DC characters that people are gonna grasp up on, really, besides Harley Quinn. It's just like Gunn's like, yo, I'm a stan of the Suicide Squad. I've read these books since the beginning. I want to do a true to form Suicide Squad, and just be as crazy with it as I can be. And I think the fact that because we have so many kind of obscure characters, it allows them to make everyone expendable, which I think will make the movie interesting because you don't know who's going to last till the end. I will say I thought that again, in terms of, I like John Cena's explanation for Peacemaker. He's like, think of Captain America, but like, kind of douchey is the word he used.
Right.
I think that Cena playing that kind of character, given who he's been himself, John Cena, makes a lot of sense. I'm excited to see how that goes. And they deserve so much props for this Harley Quinn costume. It's crazy that we're now on our third movie with Harley Quinn, right? Third one. And finally we got a Harley Quinn costume that makes any sense. And I'm not trying to diss, maybe I am trying to diss Suicide Squad because that was terrible. I'm not trying to necessarily diss Birds of Prey. I like that movie, and I think they were trying to be, they had a certain aesthetic they were going for. So I don't know if I'd even call what she was wearing like a costume. It was kind of what she would wear. This, though, is like, yes, true to form, Harley Quinn, red and black, leather jacket, bazooka in hand, all I ever wanted. That's all. It's like, it took me all these years. You've had this A-list actor playing this role, and all this time you've been doing all this kind of like cutesy stuff with trying to be unique, and it's like, just give me what I want. And this looks to me by far like the best Harley Quinn adaptation, from the comic books or from what we've seen in her on animated content. Yeah, I love the costume.
Now, the last thing I'll say is that you talked about the special effects being big, and there were some reports that came out today that the villain is going to be Starro, who's like the giant alien starfish. We don't know if that's the case or not. Well, we can't confirm that. They didn't say that in this panel, but if that's the case, then it would make sense why the special effects for this movie are going to be kind of through the roof a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, look, I think it's going to be an ambitious try. James Gunn was also ambitious with Ego, and it didn't really work. So, Guardians too. So I don't know. We'll see if Starro, if he is in fact a villain, whether or not that'll look good, and whether or not it'll make for a great villain. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think obviously I can hear from you guys. Y'all are excited about the Suicide Squad. I'm excited about the Suicide Squad. If you're excited, make sure you like this video, leave a comment about what you thought about the panel, and also be sure to check out our podcast, New Generation Hero Talk. You can find that on the New Generation Podcast Network. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn, where we talk about this kind of stuff all weeks, every week. So be sure you keep a lookout for that. But for now, I'm going to peace out here. I'm EJ for Shamari and Kendall. Take it easy.